Ladies and gentlemen, the champion of the world, Ilia Topuria!
Before Ilia Topuria became a two-division UFC champion, before he knocked out 3 former title holders, he was seconds away from losing everything.
He's got to be careful here.
That's the man who almost ended the run. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what happened to him and to every fighter Topuria has left behind. This is not a story about how Ilia Topuria won. This is a story about what winning cost everyone else. "17 fights, 17 wins, 2 UFC championships, the first fighter in history to become a two-division champion while remaining completely undefeated." But before the crowns, there were warning signs. Youssef Zalal is ranked 8th in the UFC featherweight division as of April 2026. He just headlined his first UFC main event. The reason that matters, the reason we're starting there, is that Youssef Zalal was the very first man Ilia Topuria ever beat inside the UFC.
There's the newcomer, Ilia Topuria, the Youssef Zalal.
Topuria won the decision, comfortably. What followed for Zalal was a slow collapse. He lost to Choi next, then Woodson, then fought to a draw. In August 2022, the UFC released him. For a while, it looked like his UFC future had completely vanished.
After his fight, I went on a 3 losing streak and then a draw, and then they kicked me out. And I took it to the heart. It really tested me as a man. I realized this is all I dreamed about. Now it's gone. I really didn't know what was gonna happen. I had no clue. I really just, I think that's one of the first times I'm like, sat down, I'm like, what's next?
He went back to the regional circuit in Colorado, won 3 straight. And in March 2024, the UFC called him back.
Youssef Zalal, welcome back to the UFC.
Since returning, he submitted Billy Quarantillo, Yarno Aarons, Jack Shore. He beat Calvin Kattar on the scorecards. Then in October 2025, he submitted Josh Emmett in 98 seconds. The first man Topuria ever beat inside the UFC didn't spiral, didn't disappear. He was delayed.
I'm getting a second chance of life, and I'm getting a second chance of my career, and you can fail and still come back and really change your life like a full 360, you know what I mean?
He's the only fighter on this entire list who can honestly say that losing to Topuria set him on a better path than the one he was on. But the next man on this list can't say that, because the next man didn't just lose to Topuria, he almost ended everything. Jai Herbert. Here is the only time in 17 professional fights that Ilia Topuria has been knocked down inside a cage. 40 seconds into the first round, Herbert landed a picture-perfect left head kick, Topuria's head spinning on contact, his body crumpling to the canvas. Herbert went for the finish. Topuria grabbed his legs and pulled him into a takedown. Survived, made it to round 2, and then Topuria said something afterwards that should tell you everything about who he is.
I have to give the Jai his credit. Yeah, he connected me with a really good head kick. He did a great job, but I reborn as the Son of God did.
Reborn, as the Son of God was. Round 2, a completely different fight. Topuria slipped a jab, fired a straight right, then a left, then a right that landed so cleanly Herbert was unconscious before he hit the floor. Walk-off knockout, performance of the night. The O2 Arena went silent. That is the moment the sport should have understood what Topuria was. When you hurt him, really hurt him, he doesn't panic, he doesn't retreat, he recalibrates, and then he finishes you.
The fight, man, I was bossing the fight everywhere, like in the striking, in the grappling. Like he couldn't touch me. I think it was more me making a mistake than anything, because I feel like nine times out of 10 I'll win that fight.
But here's the detail that tells you where Herbert really sits in this story. In early 2026, Herbert was asked on a podcast to name the toughest opponents of his career.
My toughest opponents.
He listed Francisco Trinaldo, he listed a Cage Warriors fighter, he didn't mention Topuria at all. The man he almost knocked out, the current 2-division champion, didn't even make his list. Make of that what you will. Bryce Mitchell.
He's a potential champion one day.
Set up a twister. Oh! No way. Oh my God, he's got that. Oh my God!
Bryce Mitchell, the nasty!
Bryce Mitchell was built on one thing. Not his power, not his striking, his grappling, his wrestling. The ability to drag any fight to the mat and make every round feel like a slow suffocation for his opponent. When Topuria was matched with Bryce Mitchell, ranked 4th in the world, it was framed as a stylistic nightmare for El Matador. Topuria was the striker, Mitchell was the grappler. In grappling, Mitchell should win. Topuria submitted him in round 2 with an arm triangle. He beat Bryce Mitchell at grappling.
By submission due to an arm triangle, Ilia!
That single result, more than any other early fight, was the one that made people quietly terrified of what Topuria was becoming. He didn't just win, he took away the thing Mitchell thought was his.
But yeah, the Ilia fight, that's the one fight that still just makes me mad to this day. He did whoop me, but I proved that I'm not a coward. I fought the man, and I'll fight him again.
The years after the Topuria loss took Mitchell somewhere complicated.
I honestly think that Hitler was a good guy.
MMA fighter Bryce Mitchell is under fire for praising Hitler and going on an anti-trans, anti-Semitic, homophobic, everything you could think of type of rant.
The public statements he made on political topics, international events, drew widespread condemnation, cost him sponsorships, and made him one of the most divisive figures the sport had produced in years.
I think he's probably one of the dumbest, literally one of the dumbest human beings.
We're not going to give you a platform today to talk about anything that even remotely supports that.
Well, you know, I thought I said a lot of true stuff, but it's open to a debate, and, you know, I love the Second Amendment, and I love the First. And you know why we have the First? Because we have the Second.
In April 2025, at UFC 314 in Miami, he fought Gene Silva. Silva choked him unconscious in round 2 with a ninja choke.
Sean Silva submits Bryce Mitchell!
He responded by moving down to bantamweight, a division he hadn't competed in since his professional debut in 2015. In July 2025, in Abu Dhabi, he ground out a unanimous decision over Said Nurmagomedov. He survived the knockdown, worked his wrestling, dug out a win. Whether he ever gets back to featherweight, whether that title conversation has moved on without him, is still being answered. What isn't is the image of the UFC's most feared grappler tapping to a submission against the man now holding 2 belts. Josh Emmett. Until Josh Emmett, you could argue against Topuria. He'd finished the prospect, he'd survived the scare against Herbert, he'd submitted a top 5 grappler. But elite, truly elite, he hadn't been tested. Josh Emmett was the test.
He is arguably the most powerful featherweight on planet Earth. Ghost Wallace, Josh Emmett!
Everyone's always the next champion, the next contender, the next big thing. This is going to be a tough test for him.
Emmett never went down, never quit, took extraordinary punishment for 25 minutes and kept standing there. 5 rounds. Every round to Topuria. The fight earned Fight of the Night. Emmett was placed on indefinite medical suspension. And from that night forward, nobody questioned Topuria's level again.
Ilia Topuria didn't just win. He dominated in every... Megan, 50-42. I don't think I've ever heard that scorecard in my life. 3 10-8 rounds. That's absurd. I'm okay with him going right into a title fight.
He took a year off, dealt with undisclosed injuries.
I haven't been at my best, and I've been fighting the best guys in the world. Started from the Cater fight, and every fight after, it got worse and worse. I was a fraction of myself, but I'm 100%.
Josh Emmett is 41 years old. He has lost 4 of his last 5 fights. The featherweight division he once threatened to own has moved to the next generation without him. He is the fight that proved Topuria was real. He survived 25 rounds of it and kept coming back for more, 5 more years of it in fact, until the division itself said enough. He's still standing. That has to count for something. Up until now, these were warning signs. The MMA world started paying attention.
It's kind of cleaned out the division already. The real dangerous guys like Josh Emmett, he pieced that dude up. Wow. He pieced Josh Emmett up. He beat his ass. He's just so good, man.
Everything that came before was just a prologue.
Saturday night, I'm gonna change the whole game of mixed martial arts. I'm gonna end with his word, and mine's gonna start. And you all will become an instant fan, so shut the fuck up right now.
No es que pienso que voy a ser una superestrella, es que lo soy.
Alexander Volkanovski is the UFC featherweight champion. For 5 years, Volkanovski was the undisputed best featherweight on the planet. He beat Max Holloway 3 times. He went to lightweight on short notice and nearly defeated Islam Makhachev in one of the gutsiest performances in recent UFC history. He was the benchmark for greatness at 145 pounds.
Best featherweight in the world. Too good.
And then, on short notice, 3 months after being knocked out by Makhachev, he took the Ilia Topuria fight.
Ilia been running his mouth. If he wants to keep going, I'll show him what's up and I'll squash him too.
Alex has sort of kind of acted like he's not impressed by you.
He will be impressed when I'm gonna punch him the first time inside that cage.
Round 2. The featherweight title changed hands. In the cage afterwards, Volkanovski was composed, gracious, the way only a man who has been at the top long enough to understand what it costs can be gracious in the worst moments of his career.
If he puts a hand on you like that, like you're going to go down. And I think no matter who you are, like you let one of those land on your chin while you're caught there, you're probably going down. Don't let him catch you. He caught me.
This guy walked the walk, talked the talk, and got it done. It feels like the start of a new era.
He went back to Australia, processed it. He rebuilt, fought back. And in April 2025, 14 months after Topuria took his belt, he beat Diego Lopez to win the featherweight championship. Not reclaim it, win it. Because the belt Topuria took from him was never put back up for Volkanovski to take back. Topuria vacated it, moved to lightweight, won a second championship, and only then, after all of that, did Volkanovski get a shot at the title again, against a completely different opponent, for a belt that had been declared vacant because its previous holder simply had better things to do.
And a lot of people counted me out, right? Coming off 2 knockout losses. It's a 35-year-old curse, 36 years old, big break, and come back and beat a gun like Diego Lopez.
Think about what that means. The greatest featherweight champion of his era spent over a year rebuilding from a loss, clawing his way back into title contention, and the man who took him everything didn't even come back to take it again. He just left, and left the division smaller for his absence. That's not just a story about losing a belt. That's a story about what it means when the person who beat you moves on before you've even finished rebuilding. Before we get to the fight, you need to understand the number. 33 professional fights, 13 years, not once knocked out. Not by Jose Aldo, not by Volkanovski, not by anyone in 34 professional fights across an entire era of the sport. The mythology of Max Blessed Holloway was built on one unbreakable fact. You could not put him out. You could hurt him, rock him. He would still be standing there throwing back. And then, 6 months before fighting Topuria, he reminded everyone of exactly who he was. 1 second left. Holloway knocked out Justin Gaethje. And pointed at the canvas while doing it. Knockout of the year, the most iconic finish in recent memory. And then, 6 months later, he walked into Abu Dhabi and fought Topuria.
I'm like
There is no way I'm not gonna knock him out. I will be the first one to knock him out.
1 minute and 34 seconds. For the first time in 34 professional fights, Max Holloway was knocked unconscious.
Massive knockdown for Topuria, and still, he does it again! Ilia Topuria!
He didn't stumble, he didn't survive on instinct. He went down clean, and he stayed down. 34 fights, 13 years, the unkillable myth. Topuria ended it in under 2 minutes.
Like I said, I was doing good until I wasn't. Gave him inches, man. Gave him inches. He landed something that I found myself looking at him up from the ground, so it is what it is.
He moved to lightweight, then defended it against Dustin Poirier. And then came the rematch with Charles Oliveira and the next fighter on this list at UFC 326 in March 2026. Oliveira didn't give Holloway a single second of breathing room, takedown after takedown. Oliveira won every round on every scorecard, 50-45, clean sweep. Holloway, who had built his BMF reign on standing in the phone booth and trading with violent men, lost a title he had never been taken off his feet to win because Oliveira simply dragged him to the floor and refused to let him up. He is now ranked in the top 5 at lightweight. He is 33 years old. And the strange thing Topuria set in motion, the myth broken, the move to 155, the new chapter, is still being written in ways neither of them could have predicted. Topuria took the unkillable myth and left behind a fighter who no longer needed it. Charles Oliveira holds more UFC records than any fighter alive. Most finishes, most submissions, 21 post-fight bonuses. He became lightweight champion in 2021 and built one of the great championship runs in the sport's history.
Pode bater, bate, filha. Homem aqui aguenta, rapaz. Nós é iluminado, rapaz.
14 years into his UFC career and he's never been better.
Charles Oliveira!
Out cold.
A man of his word!
Oh my goodness.
And then, the UFC released 24 minutes of backstage footage from that night. That footage went around the world because it is one of the most honest things a camera has ever captured about what this sport actually costs. Not the winning, the losing. The other side of the walkway. And then he said the line that stopped people cold.
Ele é mais rápido ou mais forte ou mais alguma coisa do que você imaginava?
Com certeza, o cara que bate mais forte. Que me bateu mais forte. Não tem nem como negar. Eu tomei muitas pancadas de caras duríssimos. Dustin Gaethje, tomei muita pancada. Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, eu tomei pancada que me deram knockdown, que mexeram. Mas de verdade, o cara bate muito duro.
Charles Oliveira has been in wars. He has been dropped in some of the biggest fights of his career and come back to finish the opponent. And he described Topuria as the hardest puncher he has ever faced. He went back to the gym, beat Mateusz Gamrot. Then, on March 7th, 2026 at UFC 326, he beat Max Holloway by unanimous decision, 50-45 on every scorecard to become the 4th man in history to hold the BMF title. The man Topuria knocked out in under 3 minutes went on to beat the man Topuria knocked out 6 months earlier. Topuria's 2 most recent victims fought each other, and the one who lost the BMF title because of it was Holloway. And that should have been the end of this story. 7 fighters, 7 different answers to the same question, except while this video was being edited, the next chapter was announced.
Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje, finishers of the highest order.
Those 2 at the White House should be insane.
This will be the greatest show on earth.
On June 14th, 2026, on the lawn of the White House, Ilia Topuria defends the lightweight championship against Justin Gaethje, the interim champion, a man who went with Khabib Nurmagomedov for the title, who was knocked out cold with 1 second remaining by the same Max Holloway who now sits on this list as a victim. Justin Gaethje is not a safe first defense. He's one of the most legitimately dangerous men at lightweight. The kind of opponent who makes everything uncertain, whose volume and pressure and willingness to be hit while he hits you back has broken the game plans of better men than most.
I don't usually plan on being alive the day after my fight.
7 names on this list. A grinder who found purpose, the only man who ever put him down. A grappler beaten at grappling. A veteran who took 5 rounds of hell and refused to fall. A champion who lost everything and built it back. A legend who got knocked out for the first time and became something new on the other side of it. A living record holder dropped in under 3 minutes. Not one of them has beaten him.
That's violent. It's an inherently violent sport. He stands out as the most violent.
Ilia Topuria is probably one of the most technical, sound athletes that I've seen in mixed martial arts.
He said he's going to do. He is an absolute complete fighter. Yeah, this kid's a star.
17-0, 2 divisions, 3 former UFC champions knocked unconscious. The next man stands on the White House lawn. We'll see.